When they told me about the show, they said, think castle, think dynasty. You get to be glamorous, the staircase. I was like, that's me. Yes.
Yeah, that's what you thought. Okay.
And they said, put on a wetsuit. You're going to the war. I'm like, what is this?
I am super excited to talk season 2 of The Traitors with you guys today because I've already seen a couple episodes and it is just very exciting. It's a great season. So right off the bat, this is a whole new brand of deception and treachery, even for those of us who have played Big Brother a couple of times. Janelle and Dan, I want you to talk first about how your experiences on Big Brother translated or didn't translate to the Traitors realm. Janelle, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I think generally in Big Brother, I'm always known as like, I can do a competition. I'm faithful to an alliance. So really for me, I was like a traitor role would be a role reversal for me, which I totally wanted. But I think a lot of those elements definitely came into play when I did play Traitors 2. I found myself, even though I wanted to be a traitor so bad, I kept falling back on my old habits of just being like going after the bad guys, I guess.
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I think this was a very accelerated version. My strategy is always develop relationships with people. And in Big Brother, I can do that over 60, 70, 80 days. And then that's when I become really dangerous. And this game is so shortened. I tried to do that and I did that. But as that's going on, the clock is ticking. And towards the end of episode 3, it's like, okay, this playbook that I've been used to running that's been very successful, it's time to come up with something new because I'm running out of time here.
Absolutely. Pushing you to new levels, even after all your success on Big Brother. Now, MJ, this is a whole new bag for you. What was it like coming from 𝐿𝐴𝐻 and trying to deceive and track down the truth?
I guess I'm going to say a kid in a candy store. I have no experience in it. So I just thought of it as this like really cool thing that we get to do. And Dan and Janelle are so right. It does move so quickly. And I probably thought like, since you can get eliminated and sent home at any time, you kind of have to brace yourself for that, just prepare, be mentally so strong that like, thank God I had something waiting for me, someone that, wouldn't be upset if I came home early.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, having allies in the Traitors is so important for everyone. Now, Janelle and Dan, you played together before. Was there any kind of thinking about banding together in the beginning or not so much?
Yeah. I mean, when I walked into the castle, I was like, absolutely, I want to work with Dan, whether he's a traitor or a faithful. I always thought with my strategy, it would be good to work with a traitor. So if Dan's a traitor, that would be perfect for me because we do have a relationship. Yeah,
Janelle's someone I always trust in these kind of games because that's how she plays the game. She's very loyal. She works really hard. She's competitive. But for me, the thing I had to be aware of, and MJ said this early on, was that you have to be aware of who you're surrounding yourself with. So I know at least some people have an idea. People didn't know who I was, but people knew I was on Big Brother after we introduced ourselves. So I didn't want to spend all my time hanging around Janelle because people are going to be, they're working together. But I felt like I didn't need to spend that time with Janelle because I trusted her immensely and, trust her immensely just because I know how she plays games like these.
Absolutely. And both of you are, regarded as some of the best Big Brother players of all time. Were you worried about having a target on your back going in, or were you just hoping that maybe people didn't watch your seasons?
I think it would be foolish to think people wouldn't target us because we've come from games of strategy and, that would be foolish. I knew that the gamers would have some sort of a target on their back for sure.
My only concern was going in. I have been out of the circuit for so long. It's been 10 years. I figured, we'd say I was on Big Brother. I was going to downplay it, but no one really knew or cared that I played Big Brother. My only concern was that someone who did know, maybe like someone like Janelle or Sandra, I don't even know if Parvati knew who I was, that they would blow up my spot and say how dangerous I was. That was my only real concern because I looked around when I got there and people didn't know who I was, which was a tremendous asset for me.
Yeah, sure. Laying low is always great. MJ, you kind of had the ability to lay low as someone who people hadn't watched you compete before. Did you feel like that was an asset for you?
I think I didn't know what gamer was. I didn't know the term. And I was like, I wonder what it would be like I think to even like, as Janelle and Dan are talking about strategy, I'm like, God, now I really wish like I even understood what a strategy could be, because I definitely am too aloof of a person to pay that much attention, and way more of like, I'm just gonna like let it go and see what happens. So maybe that's just my defense mechanism to like, survive, or,
Well, we're going to see how all these strategies play out. Dan, do you have anything that you want
Yeah,
to say?
I have to give MJ credit, because I felt throughout especially the first 3 episodes, she was someone that you could kind of feel was feeling her way out, but was hard to pin down. This first 3 episodes, I'm like, okay, I don't really know where MJ's coming from. And that's like, she said she doesn't have experience in the strategy game, but sometimes that can be very dangerous, because I can't like profile MJ, like, oh, here's how MJ's going to react, or here's the direction she's going to go. So it made it challenging in the early game with MJ for sure.
Absolutely.
I want to add to MJ, because I really liked working with MJ. I thought she was amazing. She's the type of person that's a feeling person. And I knew that early on. She wanted to talk. I like to listen to her. Like, there were so many aspects of her personality. I was like, I totally get MJ. Like, I got her.
Great cast dynamic, super fun couple episodes that I've gotten to see, and I can't wait to see the rest of the season. So thank you so much, everyone, for talking with me, and everyone go watch season 2 of The Traitors. We're talking season 2 of The Traitors, which from what I've seen so far is a really, really great season. So right off the bat, you're all wonderful competitors in your own realm. I want to hear what your individual experiences on Survivor and Drag Race helped you with or hindered you with whenever you entered that castle. Pep, I feel like you had the largest gap to bridge.
Oh yeah, that's very sure.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Drag Race. I mean, it's obviously a competition reality show, but it's based in, like what you bring. Whatever you bring on the very first day is what you have with Drag Race. And that's what the other people are contending with. So like the ideas, the plans, the thoughts, the stuff, the outfits, the routines, the kind of what you have in your mind. And then obviously the skill for being an entertainer is really what you're judged on in Drag Race. And so I'm really proud of that. But obviously, like, I don't think there would be like a dressmaking competition in Traitors. I don't really know.
Season 3.
Yeah, season 3. But so I guess the thing that I really wanted to rely on and I hoped would be helpful for me is my ability to make connections with other human beings. And, I guess my strategy was, like allyship.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding people to rely on and really making strong connections there. That's not a bad strategy going in. Sandra, what about you? Obviously, you've got your experience on Survivor to draw from. What did you bring with you into the Traitors Castle?
I think, not that I think, I just wanted to play a social game, because I know that being a social player, getting along with people is what I feel always gets me far in the game. And I just simply thought, it's going to be, as far as physical is concerned with Survivor, it's going to be a piece of cake. And it was the total opposite. Like, I didn't realize how hard the missions would be compared to the challenges we do on Survivor. But I tried to give it my all every single time. And other than that, I was happy it was in the castle. I was happy we were being fed. Right. And I think it was a good group. I really enjoyed it. And I'm hoping there's going to be 2 Emmys this season.
Absolutely. Parvati, what about you? Did you have similar feelings there with Survivor?
The thing with Traitors is there's actually more to survive than in Survivor, because you have to survive the round table and you also have to survive being murdered. So you have to have the ability to connect with people that who knows who's lying, who's telling the truth. Nobody really knows anything. There are some people whose only job is to lie the entire time. On Survivor, it's not like that. Like, I could win Survivor by telling a couple of lies. I don't have to tell lies the entire time. So that's a really tricky aspect of this game. And I think it's more of, Traitors is more of a pressure cooker because everyone is so on top of each other and the accusations are flying. And this cast is high drama and big performers and big personalities. So anytime I'm walking into a room, I know that the spotlight's going to be on me and I have to have something ready or prepared to say or some story to spin, which is not really my strong suit. So I was like, I don't know. I was relying a lot on my survival skills more than anything in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And how was it filming together again? You know, Parvati and Sandra, you've got history there. You're in the castle. What was that like?
Oh, man.
For me, I don't think we were we weren't in each other's hair. I had different groups that I was always talking to. I made sure to check in with Parvati too. And I think she knows, a lot of times I feel like when Parvati looks at me, she kind of knows what I'm thinking, if things are good or things are bad. But once we squashed everything, like I moved on.
Well, that was Peppermint.
And I thank Peppermint for that.
Peppermint brought Sandra and I together in the very first moment that we opened.
Yeah, Peppermint. What was going on there? Was that part of your strategy or just you wanting to bring everyone together?
Well, no, these are two queens of Survivor and have been on our screens for many, many years. And, I could sense that there was a little bit of some type of tension, whether it's like real or perceived or something from leftover. I can't quite articulate it, but these two fabulous human beings were not together the way that I felt like they should be, not trying to tell people what to do, but I could tell that there was maybe some conversations that had been left unsaid. And so it was important for me to see them, at least have the opportunity to see eye to eye, knowing what we were about to go into.
Absolutely. Well, we've got friendships, we've got murders, we've got a really great season of television coming up. So everyone tune in for season 2 of The Traitors. And thank you so much, all of you, for spending your time with me today. Welcome, Larsa, Marcus, and Johnny. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I am really looking forward to this season of Traitors. It is looking very intense from what I've gotten to see so far. So right off the bat, I'm curious, going in, riding up to this castle, were you hoping to be a traitor or a faithful? What about you, Larsa?
I kind of wanted to be a traitor. I kind of felt like I could definitely navigate better as a traitor. And I think it'd be more fun to be a traitor. Just have more influence in the game.
Yeah. What about you, Marcus?
I definitely wanted to be a traitor. I felt like I was fully capable of deceiving and murdering, but, it didn't work out that way.
Well,
Anna, listen, faithfulness has never been one of my strong suits, so I just didn't think that was going to be good for me. I don't have a lot of practice with it, but all jokes aside, I had to be a traitor because I knew that coming into this, I was going to be targeted early and often if I was not, just due to my track record. So that was my only option at surviving in this game. And I think that comes to fruition very early on because I wasn't, I was, again, eliminated immediately before the game even begun. So yeah, it was kind of shitty, but I knew that going in. I was like, if I'm not a traitor, my time here is going to be cut incredibly short.
I was going to say, if we're going there, we're going there. What was it like? You barely stepped foot in the castle and you got murdered.
Not everyone. Okay. Just those who are lacking in the entertainment and personality department decided that I guess they were just way too intimidated by people who were fun and charismatic and energetic and humorous. And they were like, we cannot have this. This castle must remain dark and dreary, and it must lack any sort of entertainment value. So anyone that isn't like us has got to go. And that was their strategy, and that's what they executed. And we'll see how it works out for them in the end. But yeah, it sucked, dude. Obviously, anytime you get an opportunity like this, I have a lot of expectations. There's a lot of expectations of me coming onto any competition show just based on what I've done in the past. That, I'm going to come in. It's going to be like, oh, bananas, you're going to be so good at this. And coming in with a couple allies from the challenge, CT and Trishelle. I really thought that we were going to have a good thing there. But it was like, I never even got off the launch pad. I never even had an opportunity to play the game. And that's what was so frustrating about it. It's like, I'm fine if I go in and I lose because of the way I played the game, mistakes that I made, something that I screwed up, a bad strategic decision. But to come into a game like this and have absolutely no shot, regardless of what I did, it's kind of frustrating. So
yeah, I imagine. And Larsa and Marcus, what was it like to see like Bananas out of the game so early? Was that intimidating for both of you, or were you like, oh, thank God we don't have to go up against him?
No, I kind of feel like it was so early in the game that I never saw Johnny going, and I feel like who would want him to be murdered so quickly when he's such an asset to the whole group?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he adds so much value, entertainment. He's cool. He's fun. And at the same time, he really knows how to, kill these challenges. And I feel like to me, if I was a traitor, I would never get rid of him. I would hold him as long as I could until I had no choice but to make a decision. But I just couldn't understand why he was gone so fast, especially because he brought so much to the table for the Traitors, for all of us.
Yeah. No, I was definitely devastated. I felt like Johnny and I got along, very well.
Oh.
Beginning, and so when he was the first to go, I was definitely devastated.
He was literally like, "Rest in peace, Johnny." This is
he was my guy. He's my guy.
Yeah, he's throwing your funeral. Yeah. Well, Larsa and Marcus, you had each other at least. What was it like playing together?
It was super fun. I feel like it was a great experience for us, but at the same time, we went into this knowing that we're probably not going to be there, at the same time. One of us eventually is going to have to go home. And we didn't know if one of us was going to be a traitor. So I feel like we did have that conversation where we were like, it's an individual game. If I'm a traitor, if you're a traitor, I hope you make it to the very end.
Yeah.
And, so we already knew we weren't going to be going home at the
I feel like we came into the game with a target on our back, but we wanted to compete as individuals to see how far we could go, And so, that was
ready to cut throats. Yeah.
Ready to cut throats and ready to murder, we were down.
Connive to the very end.
We were down for the
Well, I can't wait to see how everything plays out. What I've seen so far is already fantastic. So thank you so much for talking with me about it. And everyone tune in, watch Traitors Season 2. I'm super excited to talk about Season 2 of The Traitors because I've gotten to see a little bit of it and it's a really, really good season. So kicking things off, I'm curious what it was like going from your own shows to this craziness in the castle. I mean, 𝐒𝐿𝐴 and Tamara, Bravo's a little bit of deception and trickery, but not nearly anything like The Traitors. What was your experience like there, Tamara?
You know what? It was so different than filming Orange County Housewives. I really felt like I had a leg up because I was going in to this from a show where I'm fighting and all this stuff, but it's so different. It's a 180 from filming Housewives. You have to sum people up, people that you don't know. You have to be careful. I was very afraid because I'm a very vocal person on my show. And I thought for sure that they would, just be like, I'd be gone the first episode. I'd be murdered because they're like, oh, she's a big mouth. We got to watch out for her. So you have to change your personality a little bit, watch what you say, listen a lot, which listening is not one of my good points.
What about you, 𝐒𝐿𝐴? Where did you find anything in Housewives that you could at least bring with you in to help?
Yeah, I feel like I went in as myself. I am typically, I'm an observer. I am a great listener. I went in, my thought process was to get to know, several, different people and to just kind of become, I just wanted to really learn people as much as I can and then be who I am. And just establish some really great relationships, in which I did. And I think with that, it allowed me to, play the game a lot better because people really began to trust me and to believe in me. So that was good. As well as
that is a good strategy.
I didn't trust you.
There was no Bravo bond going in. There was no Bravo, understanding with one another.
You know what? I really wanted the housewife. Oh, I can't tell. Never mind. No. I was rooting for the housewives.
Yeah.
As well as you, Max. Everyone loved Max.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, Max, you've been on competition shows, obviously, but I would imagine that Dancing with the Stars is not as backstabbing. I would hope. What was your experience like coming into this new show?
You'd be surprised. I had 17 seasons. Look, we, like I said, everybody that came on the show sort of almost all felt like they all knew each other somehow. I felt like I was a bit odd person out, and I felt like my, let's call it, television training was not the same. You know what I mean? Like I'm myself on a show that is not about drama. I'm dramatic. That doesn't mean the show is about that. So, I came in being me, and I'm okay with, these sort of situations, and I understand the games. I think I'm slightly clever, but as soon as I realized that I'm not a traitor, my personal interest, on the show was starting to go down, because I felt like I'm just a sitting duck at this point. So you either change yourself, which I don't know how to do, and you lay low, which I am completely not. I tried to kind of like sort of see where that corner would be, and I realized I can't. I'm just going to stand out, be myself. And I kind of put myself on the chopping block. I think sooner than later would have been my time. I felt that after this experience, I felt like, damn, I wish I stayed a little longer, because I wanted to see what it would have been like. Because I felt like with my elimination, stakes just went through the roof, and it was like, okay, now the game is on. The first 3 times, it was kind of like, well, we didn't know who. Somebody has to go first. I don't know why Johnny Bananas, but I guess he did some stuff. But I think after I left, things have become much more serious, and I wanted to be there to see the reaction. But, I'll watch it like everybody else.
Was there any little moments of satisfaction after you were eliminated, and knowing that you would turn around and tell them that they got it wrong?
Hell yeah, that moment alone. I mean, listen, the production is amazing. I had a great time watching the show being made. And, we've spent 17 seasons also being part of something big that's being produced. And so my hat's off to producers for sure. But that moment to play into that kind of show with a format where you get eliminated, but on your way out, you get the final word. I mean, that was worth everything. And I stood there and I turned around. I'm like, you guys got it wrong. You, Tamra, you got it wrong. Because
for the record, Max, you were not on my radar when I sat down at that round table. You were not. I really wanted to get rid of John.
My dad had raised us with one phrase: it's all about the end result. And at the end, you were wrong. So that's it. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Make me feel worse. I was persuaded.
It was an awesome moment to be a part of on television. And with that cast and seeing this show, and I think it's going to be a big hit, it was a lot of fun to be a part of that.
Absolutely. We can see still how all the emotions come with us outside of a Traitor's Castle. So I can't wait to see more of season 2. Thank you so much, all of you, for spending your time with me today. I'm super excited to talk about Traitors season 2, because what I've seen so far is super intense. Now, going in, obviously, Trishelle, you've competed in this kind of show before, but 𝐿 and Peter, I want to know if you got in there and were like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? 𝐿, what was your experience like?
I mean, my experience was like, these guys are crazy, and I'm crazy too, and we all bond because we're all freaking weird. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, it was whoever casted us did a really good job. I would never imagine all of us in one castle and playing such an intense sort of murder mystery game. And the fact that there was like people from The Bachelor, they had like The Challenge, Big Brother, we had someone from Housewives of Miami. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, everyone's so competitive there and everyone wants to win. And that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But like I said, made such great friends on the show. Peter, Trishelle, probably will stay friends for life, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Peter? This is certainly not The Bachelor.
No, it's very different than The Bachelor. I obviously had zero experience with this kind of gameplay, but I try to use that to just my advantage, and I just went in with an open mind, right? No preconceived notions. Never done this before. I'm just going to go in and use my intuition, be competitive as hell, try my best to really develop solid relationships that I can eventually, learn to trust and give it my all to. And I really did truly have the time of my life. I loved the entire experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trishelle, I mean, you had competition experience, you had CT, you had Bananas in there with you, but also people know that you're good at competitions. How did your experience translate to the Traitors?
I was a little nervous that people were going to be like, whoa, like she's done all these shows, but I think it was to my advantage because I haven't done a show in a minute. And so I kind of fell off the radar, and I think that was a good thing. I was being pretty picky. They always ask me to do challenges, and I'm like, I'm in my 40s, my back hurts, like I can't. Yeah. And I don't want to like live with 36 people. So I think it actually was fine that I had sat out for a minute.
Yeah, it's great. You can fly under the radar that way.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, going in, once you find out who's going to be competing against you this season, was there anyone right off the bat that you were like, oh, I definitely want to work with them, or someone that you were like, I definitely don't want to work with them? Was there anyone that struck you like that, Peter?
I took the approach of, I wasn't trying to pinpoint Traitors right off the bat so much. I was trying to pinpoint people that I was going to give my trust to 100%, and I wanted to receive that from them. Trishelle and 𝐿 being two of those. And I wanted to kind of try to create an alliance, if at all possible, with those people to then start moving forward in the game. Bergie, another one of those. John, Kevin. I would say that group of people was the right off the bat I got closest with.
Yeah. What about you, 𝐿?
I, like Peter said, I'm very close, got close with Peter, Trishelle, John, who else? I would say Tamra, I would say Dan even, these are the people I really gravitated to, and I trusted and I felt safe around these people. Like I really, like every time we had like a car ride, I'd want to be like with these people, like safe, or like if it was a challenge, I'd be want to stick with these people because I was so scared, like anyone, they're going to come and get us. So like, I think people, as much as it's a game, it's good to create friendships as well in this game, because even though people are suspicious of you, it's good to trust in this game as well, because you need a friend at the end of the day, someone you can kind of talk to or leash out to, even if they're traitors or not. It's a game at the end of the day, and we're here to play.
How was it working, with CT and Bananas in there? Were you like, okay, let's band together, let's do a trio? Where you're like, no, I know what you're capable of.
No, I actually wanted to separate myself from the both of them for us being a trio, because I feel like I knew for a fact that I didn't want to work with the Bravo people, because here's the thing. You're with the Bravo people, but who am I? I'm not on Bravo. I'm the lowest on the totem pole. So that's not my goal. My goal is not going to be, to be the lowest of people. And then when it's us five, they vote me out. So I knew, and I also knew that I was the lowest of Johnny, Bananas, and CT. I'm the girl. They're a guys club. So I thought it was awesome to find new people like 𝐿 and Peter and Janelle. So and then those ended up being people that I could trust more than anyone. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, from what I've seen so far, this season is a killer. Thank you so much for talking with me about it today. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Well, I am all the better for getting to talk to you guys about season 2 of Traitors. It's here. It's super intense from what I've gotten to see of it so far. So right off the bat, I'm curious, what was it that had each of you sign up to be on this crazy show? Deontay, how'd you get involved with Traitors?
It came to me. The opportunity came to me with my entertainment lawyer, and I thought it would be a great experience for me to do something outside of the box for me. I'd have been on different other not reality shows, but different shows, Billions, Magnum PI, and but for a competition show like this. And I seen the first season of Traitor. I thought, this would be a great experience for me to participate in.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin, what about you?
Unlike a lot of the castmates, I could use the money. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure.
That would have been great. But it was really just the way it's shot, and the story felt right in my alley. So it just felt like it was a very well shot and done and hosted TV show, which almost felt like an actual scripted show to me. Like visually, I mean, it obviously wasn't, but which is kind of like what I was looking for. I think if it was a typical reality show, I might have turned it down just because, coming off of Bling, I wanted to be a little bit more, I want to do a good quality show.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I chose that.
Yeah. What about you, John? You're kind of like the interesting insert of the season. Didn't expect to see you on here, but glad to see you.
Thank you. Well, I thought it would be fun and outside of my comfort zone or previous experience in a number of respects. First of all, the missions were going to be taxing for me because I'm quite old and not going to be able to keep pace with some of the best. But I thought, well, I'll have a go and I'll try not to be frit or feeble. And also outside of my comfort zone in another respect, that I would be interacting with a good many reality TV stars. Kevin has explained that he isn't by background that. He's really a storyteller and an artist. And of course, Deontay is first and foremost a boxer. But there were lots of reality TV people who were very, very competent game players. And there are superficial comparisons with my world of politics, but they're quite superficial. These people were frankly much more sophisticated, and I knew that they would be very skilled. And I just thought it would be fun. And before signing up, I watched the first series. And to be honest, I just think it is a brilliant, genius idea. And I sort of said to myself and my wife and family, look, my reading of it is it's a privilege to be asked. It's a privilege to be asked to do this, and it will be fun. And so, to be honest, that's the simple answer as to why I wanted to take part. And I wanted to be a faithful, and I was. So what's not to like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned it's going to be fun. Deontay, it was a bit more of an emotional experience for you than you anticipated. Tell me about that.
Most definitely. I didn't expect that coming in. But I know when I connect with people, I connect with them with my hearts, and that's something that a lot of people don't know of me because of my world that I come from. And I just wanted to show people a different side of me, but naturally. This is something that wasn't script or something like that. When I feel for you, I feel for you. And I met a lot of great people along the way off camera. I had a lot of different conversation with people, about different things, whether it was part, inside of their life, giving them some type of, I'm a very motivational person. A lot of people call me a preacher because of my father's a preacher. My grandma was a preacher. So I come from that background. But, to show so much emotion, a lot of people wouldn't expect of me in particular, out of anyone, to show the emotion because of what I do as a profession. And I can't help who I am. God made me who I am. And being on the show, it brought back a lot of childhood trauma for me. All the different conditions that we had to be in, and the things that we had to do, especially when you come into an environment that's not of your world in real life. And you have to come into this structured place where things has to go in order. You have to do certain things. It really messed with me a little bit, and being able to try to find the traitor, different people, being two-faced, we would call it, and you're trying to figure it out. And when you don't figure it out and you accuse someone of being something or doing something that they honestly didn't do, it really hit home for me in my childhood time. It was, I got childhood trauma that it really hit for me, but it released something for me. That's why I appreciate this show so much, because I'm 38 years old, and the things that happened to me was as a child in the elementary, and out of all the places I've been around the world, I've never been in an environment where it would trigger, certain things in my past. And being able to come on this show, it really opened me up, and it really allowed me to release a lot of childhood trauma, and I appreciate that. I'll forever appreciate getting invited and coming on to this show, Traitors. So thank you, Traitors.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see everyone's journey, Deontay, especially yours, as we see Traitors season 2. So thank you so much, all of you, for opening up to me today. I appreciate it. I am super excited to talk the Traitors season 2. From what I've gotten to see so far, it is super intense. Now, right off the bat, I've got to know, CT, obviously you're very well acquainted with competition shows, but Phaedra and Bergie, coming into this castle, having murders and all sorts of these challenges, were you like, what have I gotten myself into? Phaedra, what were you thinking?
I was like, when they told me about the show, they said, think castle, think dynasty. You get to be glamorous, the staircase. I was like, that's me. Yes.
Yeah, that's what you thought. Okay.
Then they said, put on a wetsuit. You're going to the war. I'm like, what is this? So yeah, I definitely, because I was late to come into the cast. So I knew only 4 days before.
Oh, wow.
So it was a mad dash for me to get everything done and get to Scotland. So I think other people knew well before. And I had been asked about the first season, but I couldn't do it. And so when it came around, my mother, who had seen season 1 and she fell in love with it, she had watched every installation of it. She said, you're going, cut your nails, get your stuff packed, you're going. And I was like, okay. Hands down, the best television experience I've ever had, the best production team, just amazing. Alan is just excellent. Oh my gosh. I mean, best experience I've ever had in television.
Yeah, it's fantastic episode. Yeah, I think so. Bergie, what were you having whiplash coming in, or were you like, I'm ready for this?
Like 20 days to prepare. I was still in Fiji when I got asked. So I was like, flew home, told my parents, like, hey, they want me to go to Scotland in like 10 days. I know I just got back from Fiji. So like I was packing my bags. I had enough time to watch season 1. I took notes the whole way, got a strategy. I was like, please let me be a faithful. I am the worst liar there ever is. My face will go red immediately. Even if I'm not lying and I'm like conflicted, my face will go red. And I remember seeing on season 1, they're jumping out of helicopters. I was like, I want to do that. I want to be on the show long enough to like experience every challenge. And then I was just like, here's my strategy. I'm going to go in as a faithful, trust everybody. That way they will not kill me. That was my strategy.
Not a bad strategy. Now, CT, this is like, jumping out of helicopters is like a Tuesday for you. How did the challenge compare to your experience on the Traitors? Did you get anything that was useful to bring into that castle with you?
What I could appreciate about the challenge, it was a new chapter in my life. And I came into this challenge thinking that what I appreciated about Traitors is that it's more of a mental game. Yeah, there's a physical aspect about it, but in the end, everybody's trying to manipulate, which I have more respect for than I don't care if you can train to be an Olympic athlete. When it comes to the mind games, that's a whole different aspect. But on top of that, coming into a show like this, where it hasn't been around that long. It's already the UK version of it too, and you're around a bunch of people successful in their own right, and it's about the mind game. I appreciate that more, especially because I'm older. So coming into this, where I'm in my own demographic, it was the perfect storm for me to come into this, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, it's super fun to watch all of you on the show, but I'm curious if when you saw each other, when you first arrived at that castle, was there anyone that each of you were like, I don't know, I'm not going to trust that person? Anyone that you thought was untrustworthy right off the bat, Phaedra?
No.
Yeah, you went in with a positive mindset.
Yeah, no, I definitely went in with a positive mindset. Some people I was so excited to see Peter and Max.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I saw
how'd that work out?
Yeah, how'd that work out? But and Deontay, I thought he was a rap artist for a second. I was like, I know him. That's Offset. And then he gets out.
Stop lying. You did not think he was a rapper.
what I'm saying, he looked like Offset when I looked at him in the Jeep, and I said, "What is Offset doing here?" And when he got out, I had previously known Deontay, and I was like, "Oh my God, Deontay Wilder's here, boxing legend."
I love you.
Well, I cannot wait to see how the rest of the season plays out. It's so fun from what I've gotten to see so far. So thank you so much, everyone, for talking to me today.